Okay. I swear this is my last haul of the year. It has to be because frankly I've bought way more books than I have read, like that I own this year. And one of my goals for the year was to actually reduce my physical TBR. I have definitely not done that. So yeah, it's my final book haul video. So this is technically 3 different buys. So I feel like that's not bad. But I also did just buy a book advent calendar. But we'll deal with that in December when it comes. Anyway, I want to go through these books with you and, just talk about some of the plans I have to actually read them, which is also good. Anyway, let's start with the book on top. Here it is. Snail, Eggs, and Sunfire, Dispatches from the Food Front by Derek Cooper. I bought this basically there's a restaurant by like a chef near where we live, and they had like a sale and they had books. They were 50p. And this looked interesting because it's actually food writing. It wasn't just recipes. It's food writing. It's just like a selection of Derek Cooper's writing. I've never heard of him, but I thought, why not? I enjoy reading about food more and more, so I think that's going to be an interesting book at some point anyway to read. I don't have plans for this one yet. Anyway, then let's go through. No, let's not go with these first. Okay, let's go with these. So there's 4 books here. 4. So I bought these. So I bought 2 of them. Is that correct? Yes. So oh no, there's a 3rd one. Where's the 3rd one? Here it is. Sorry, there was a 5th book. So I bought these 3 at Rarebird's Bookshop in Edinburgh in Stockbridge. I finally made it. This is a bookshop that owns only writing by women, and I'd always been dying to go since I saw it opened. And finally we went to spend a day in Edinburgh, and I went in there. My husband just left and went to the other shop, and I just spent way too long in there. I wanted to buy everything, but I restrained myself to 3 books. The first is What White People Can Do Next by Emma Dabiri. I saw Emma Dabiri talk at the Edinburgh Book Festival. I was to say it was last year or the year before, whenever it was, and I really wanted to read one of her books, so I picked this up. I also picked up Feminist City by Leslie Cairn. The Feminist City is an ongoing experiment in living differently, living better, and living more justly in an urban world. And I actually had been eyeing this book for quite a few months, so I bought it in anticipation for Nonfiction November. And actually, I think I'll also read this one because they're both quite short, so they'll be my 2 main physical books, but we'll get to that in a TBR at some point. And the one fiction book that I did read by was Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I have since seen some bad reviews, but I've wanted to try Emily Henry forever. And I mean, this title, I'm a book lover. I want to read this. So I will give it a chance, and I'm looking forward to reading this. Maybe over the holiday. I feel like it's going to be and it looks like a summer read, but I feel like whenever I have time to sit down with a book, this will be a nice one to read. On the same trip in Edinburgh, so in Stockbridge, there are so many charity shops as well, and so many of them had just book-only sections. So I was really pleased. Oh my god, I could have bought so many books, but I tried to restrain myself. So I bought only 2 from the same shop. But anyway, so I read, god, I keep saying that. I bought The Good Neighbors by Nina Allen. This is a Scottish book. I think it's based on the Isle of Bute, I forget. But this is about a photographer who goes off to take photos of houses, weird houses or something like that. Yeah, Kath is a photographer hoping to go freelance, working in a record shop to pay the rent and eking out her time with her manager Steve. He thinks her photography is detective work, drawing attention to things that would otherwise pass unseen, and maybe he's right. I recommend it. Well, it was on my pile of possibilities from last year when I did a Scottish book recommendation, and this is one of the ones I was like, I really need to get it because I want to read it, and I did. I'm really pleased that I finally got a copy. And the other book I bought was The Literary Almanac, A Year of Seasonal Reading by Francesca Bowman. I saw this one and literally snatched it. And when I got to the counter, the guy was like, I literally just put this on the shelf. And I thought it looked so good. And I was like, yes, it looks really lovely. So it's basically every month. Let's try to find a page. So with every month you have this. So January, it's like new resolutions. And actually, Cat of Monte Cristo is the first book recommended, which I think is hilarious. Anyway, so this just looked like a really lovely book to have, and you know, maybe I'll see in the new year actually about having some seasonal literary recommendations. All right, and all the other books, all here, I got. So I went to the grocery store, a local one in the village next to us, and I was like literally just gonna go buy like cucumber and tomatoes to do salad or something. And at the entrance, there was a table full of books. And I was like, what is this? And my husband actually at some point came in, he's like, what are you doing? And I was just at this table looking at books. And I guess they were just raising some money for charity, and it was just donations. I was just like, this book, why not this book? So I just got everything that looked like it was interesting, and we left a donation, whatever. So yes, so the first one is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I had some issues with this book when I read it in 2020 when it came out. Actually, a lot of issues. It's quite moralistic, and yeah, but I still like the idea of it, and I like the idea of looking at the different lives. If I'd made this choice, blah, blah, blah. And so I thought that was really interesting, although huge, I guess, trigger warning of suicide in this, obviously, because it's literally what this main thing is about. But if you know Matt Haig, this it's a big thing because of himself having lived through suicide ideation and attempts a lot in his life. And so I feel like he comes from a place where he understands it and wants to talk about it, and I think that's really important. So yeah, I have read this one, so at least I haven't added to my TBR with this one. Anyway, I also saw Milkman by Anna Burns. I see that this was winner. I thought it was longlisted or shortlisted. It was a winner for the Man Booker Prize 2018. I've heard of this, like literally just the title. I feel like I keep seeing it pop up. So when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I'll just get it because why not? And at some point, I would like to read the winners, all the female winners of the Booker Prize. And we'll see when that comes, but so that's a good one to have. Then there was the Postscript Murders by Ellie Griffiths. So I saw Nikki from Red Dot Reads not recommend, but she read that one, and it just sounded so interesting. So she'd asked people to vote on which books was going to be on her TBR for the next month, and I think I voted for this one because it sounded really interesting. Like I like the idea of, you know, it's clearly a thriller. It's about a series of crimes and murders, and there's this like thing that links all of them. And yeah, it sounded interesting. So when I saw the title, I was like, oh yeah, I've heard of this book. Let's get it. One day, I'm sure I'll read it. Then I got The Ninth Child by Sally Magnuson. I own a book already by Sally Magnuson. What is it called? The Seal Woman's Gift? Is that correct? I'm not sure. But anyway, I think her writing is really interesting. It was another book based in the Highlands. Yeah. Loch Catherine Waterworks, 1856. A Highland wilderness fast become an industrial wasteland. No place for a lady. Young doctor's wife, Isabel Aird, grieving the loss of her many unborn children, finds unexpected freedom among these hills, echoing with gunpowder blasts day and night. I love a book based in Scotland, so I had to get it. All the thistles. It's really nice. Another one I got because of kind of the author, I guess. So it's Lord Peter Views the Body by Dorothy L. Sayers. I only own a book by Sayers, and I haven't read it yet. But anyway, so I saw this one, and I was just like, maybe. And then I read the back, and it literally said, one solution requires expertise in fine wines. Another calls for his knowledge of fine art. Lord Peter has a knack of being on the spot at just the right time to spot a thief or a blackmailer, or even prevent a murder. I just like that, and I like reading about wine. Actually, I'm really into learning more about wine these days. So yeah, it just attracted me, and I have no idea what else this is about. But I've heard Sayers is a good kind of crime writer, so I've always wanted to try her. pile's getting higher. Next is The Bookshop That Floated Away by Sarah Henshaw. I believe that this is actually a nonfiction. I might read it for nonfiction in November, we'll see. And it's about basically a bookshop in a barge, and it's about the woman who owns that. I love a book about bookshop, about books, so I had to get that one. We're almost there. So next is, I just saw Jenny Han and I was like, oh, I'll get these. So there was We'll Always Have Summer, and It's Not Summer Without You. And I was like, I've never read Jenny Han yet, and I know it's more like a teenage thing, but I enjoyed the movies I've watched and stuff like that, so I thought I'd get it. Then I got home and realized this is a trilogy, and the one that's missing is the first one. Yeah, so I'm glad I didn't pay very much for these. But maybe by some point I'll get the first one. Maybe I can get an audiobook and I'll be able to read the trilogy. And finally, the last book is The Island by Victoria Hislop. This is the winner of the Galaxy British Book Awards. I have literally no idea what this book is about. I literally just picked it up. I kind of like the vibe of this cover, so I just got it. I have literally no idea what it's about. On the brink of a life-changing decision, Alexis Fielding longs to find out about her mother's past, but Sophia has never spoken of it. All she has missed is to growing up in a small Cretan village. I don't think that I'm pronouncing that correctly. Before moving to London. When Alexis decides to visit Crete, okay, that makes more sense. However, Sophia gives her daughter a letter to take to an old friend and promises that through her she will learn more. And she seems to go to Greece. Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense about the island. Thought it was going to be British somehow. But yeah, I got it because this was a bit of the whimsical pick because I'd never heard of this. I don't even know if I've really heard of Victoria Hislop before. But anyway, so these are all the books that I've bought in the last kind of month or so. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with all of them. And I will do my best not to buy any more books because frankly it's getting ridiculous. My husband literally recently admitted to sometimes not buying books because he was like, well, at some point if I start reading books more like for pleasure in my free time, if he ever gets some free time, he was like, I could literally not buy books for ages and have the whole library behind me to read. And I was like, yeah, I probably could do that too. Well, I probably not, but you know, I do love to buy a book, and it feels, especially if you've been looking for a book, it feels nice to snatch it and be like, yes, I got it, especially if it's from a charity shop and it's like, you know, not too expensive. So yeah, so that's it. That's all the books I bought recently. Thank you for watching and see you back. Bye.